Welcome back to the boat restoration series, where I'm converting a 1940 seaplane tender into an off-grid liveaboard. Bailing out the water in the bilge, which is getting in because there is no outer rub rail in place right now. So the rainwater gets through the already decaying or jeopardized inner gunnel. So I'm sealing the glass of the windows. I have to remove any old sealant or the old rubber gasket or seal that was inside, and it breaks off. It's all perished and damaged from the sunlight over the years, so it breaks off in little pieces. I'm using my trusty little DIY tool here, and you see me use this many times. This thing is so handy. You can buy these for removing caulking and from between deck seams, and it just comes in so handy for this as well. It takes it out nicely, gets it into those awkward spots you can't get to otherwise, and you can make them very easily. Grind it down on a bench grinder, and it does the trick. So then I'm following it up with Sikaflex 291i again, and so far with the recent windows I've done, I've not seen any leaks since sealing the outside and the inside, and it seems to be doing the job. I'm pleased so far, so fingers crossed it continues this way. Getting another coat of varnish on the wheelhouse cabin roof, after sanding, making sure to wipe down using a tack cloth with thinners, then applying a 2-pack Epiphanes varnish using a roller and brush, and of course guys, I'm always using the tipping technique here, and doing the same for varnishing the planks along the bow. Weighing the casket mite to get the exact mix for securing the second layer of plywood onto the first sheet. Making sure to spread the glue out evenly over the sheet of timber. Ideally, a notch trowel works best, but you could also just use an old saw blade and it works just as well. So temporarily screwing the sheet of ply in place using mild steel Phillip head screws, while we pre-drill and countersink for following up with the flat brass head screws as we've always been using, and the original in keeping with the original design of the boat as well. So here you can actually see where the rainwater is slowly seeping in through the rotten or jeopardized gunnel there that runs all along the side of the boat, and the outer frame. I guess you could call it the outer frame, if you were to put it in other more simpler terms. So yeah, this of course it has to be. In the future, or if this was in the perfect setup or situation, you would have this boat out of the water. It would be on the hard. It would be in a shed, and you could easily just take up the deck, or as many deck planks as needed to get access to the inner gunnel, and you would replace the gunnel. You've seen in other episodes, in past episodes, you've seen I've taken out a section of that gunnel that has like a 90-degree out of it, where the double diagonal sits into it, or it sits on that double diagonal. And then the cross supports of where the deck planking would lay on top of, they would be secured into the side of that gunnel strip. But of course, in this situation, it's in the water. I can't. I'm getting a lot of questions of people asking, like, why don't you just take it out and get it worked on the hard? But I can't. I'm not in a position where I can get this boat lifted out. For now, the ideal situation now, what can be achieved right now, is to get the boat sealed up from the elements as much as possible, to get it, so there's no rainwater getting inside, and we're almost there. Once we get this bow hole sealed, that'll be that, and then just to get it that it's actually livable, that you can actually live inside it, and then later on in the near future, it can be taken out, and we can assess further on, what state maybe diagonal mahogany planking needs to be removed in places, and then we can repair those as needs be. But that's not for the future. For now, it's to get it sealed up. The priority is to get it sealed, and to get longevity out of it, to basically save it for another couple of years, and to get it livable. That's the plan. It's incredible to see the actual structural integrity of this boat and how strong it is. Of course, it's a 40-foot boat. It's a big boat, and normally, if you look at other boats of the similar size, they're made from wood. Their inner workings, like their frames, their joints, their supports, they're big. They're made from big pieces of timber. They're strong. But you look at a boat like this. Of course, this boat was made to be light. It was made to be light. It's almost like a kit if you think about it. They were putting a load of these together, and you had people working at different intervals on it, assembling it, and it's just truly fascinating. This is a boat that was built to be light, built for speed, that it could handle the rough conditions of the sea, the open sea. And now that I think about it, like, the kelson is probably the thickest piece of timber on this boat. It's just truly fascinating. In order to seal the marine grade ply, I painted on a coat of aluminium wood primer. Next up, we'll have to get some sort of sealant into those butt joints where the ply meet on a hard edge. So we turned the boat around in order to get working on the bow. But since the weather took a turn for the worst and a storm came in, we had to move it back towards the barge, but this time with the bow facing outwards. And this will allow us, you know, as soon as we begin working on the bow next, we can just loosen the ropes. We'll bring it right over to the jetty and we can work from there. We can easily gain access to that hole in the bow. We can cut out the rotten timber, whatever needs to be cut out, and then we can get new marine plywood in place there and get it sealed up. So while we start work getting the plywood sheets in place, cutting out the old diagonal mahogany, what needs to be cut out in order to get those sheets in place, we will then strengthen the deck where needs be. So just where the windscreen or the windshield, those windows come down and meet with the deck, there's a cross support, a horizontal wooden plank that is in there, beam, and again we'll just double that one up. We'll get another one in there, just because you can hear some creaking on the deck. I mean, it's strong, it's structurally sound, but you just don't want any movement, and it needs to be 100% strong. It needs to support the weight. So again, also we'll do the same on the port and starboard side, up there at the bow, just at those corners of the windshield, or where that plywood is at the forecab in front. And that's all pretty straightforward. You know, we'll put in our triangles, we'll put in we'll double up any frames that need to be doubled up, that don't need to be removed, to keep it structurally sound. You know, we don't want to go taking out frames that don't need to be messed with. So we start taking out some frames, you know, we could distort the actual structural integrity of the boat. We don't want to be at that while it's in the water. So the best thing to do is to just get it as strong as possible and to support it where it needs to be supported. And yeah, it's all within reach. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Once again, thank you for your continued support. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and click that notification icon so you get notified whenever I release a new episode. I have a Patreon page set up and a PayPal link in the description below if you feel like supporting my project there. But also guys, I'd really appreciate if you could share this video with friends or with family who are also interested in these kind of videos, who might want to learn something from it or want to give advice to me as well on how I can do something better. That would be really appreciated, guys. As always, stay productive and have fun creating. See you in the next episode.